on. Okay. So actually, if you guys don't mind, go ahead. Since we have a small group, it would be great to get to know you a little bit and just type what school you're in and what grade level you teach in the chat box, so we kind of know what resources to direct you to as we're going through these slides. Awesome. Okay. Great, great, great. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I think that's everybody. So it looks like we have sort of a mix of elementary and middle. So I will tell you that the tool that I'm going to share was created for high school, but the supports are going to be great for all levels. So just keep that in mind. My name is Haley Houghton-Zobel, and I work with the English Learners Department. I was a former high school teacher, both English and ELA, English Learners. So, Christy?
Hi, good morning. And I've been working with, my name is Christy Marlarino. First of all, let me start there. And I'm the K-12 curriculum coordinator. I also have experience in elementary, middle, and in high school. And I have been teaching science, and I told Kim that I was so excited to get a hold of the health content because it's right in line with my former nursing degree. I was a nurse in the military and ended up taking a different track afterwards. But I'm really excited to be here. I'm working with a lot of the middle school curriculum, but with Haley and I, we can definitely show you how for elementary that these curriculum supports that we're creating can easily be used in the elementary setting too. So you're not here for nothing. I really do think that I was in the Navy, not the Army, but but the supports you really can use in elementary too. And I think you're gonna see how easy it is to create them. So just if you have any questions, like how can it be used or what does it look like in elementary, let us know as we go along. And back to Haley.
Awesome, you got some military shout outs there.
I know.
All right. So our goals for today, we're going to share with you some best practices based on current research for enhancing language and content. And then we want to share with you some new resources that are available, particularly for middle and high. But there are templates, again, that would be useful for any level. All right. So the first tool that I want to share with you is Jamboard. And I'll have you type in the chat your familiarity with Jamboard. So if you know what Jamboard is, you use it all the time, say I'm a pro. If you've tried it and need more practice, you could type in rookie. If you've just seen it or heard of it, you'll type in spectator. And if not, you can say, what's Jamboard, and type that in.
I'm so glad you guys are doing this because I've heard so much about it, but I have not used it myself.
Awesome, awesome. Yep, we got some spectators, we got some rookies. Great. All right. And Christy just put the link for the Jamboard that we're going to start with. So if you go ahead and open that link, and I'll tell you exactly what you do once you get there. Mr. Davis is a spectator. So I hope everybody will move up to rookie or pro today. So when we get to the Jamboard, what I'd like for you to share is some challenges that you've faced when working with English learners, some successes, and then what you hope to get out of our training today so we can tailor it a little bit more towards your needs. When you open the Jamboard, it's going to look like this. I can show you afterwards how I created it, but before you type in, I'm going to show you some useful tools. Somebody's already using the pen, and I'll tell you, the pen makes me feel like a kindergartner.
So sorry.
No, you're fine.
Busted.
You can totally use the pen. It's just a little harder to write with. So the tools that are easiest to use are going to be the sticky note. So I will ask, if you use a sticky note, go ahead and type your name first. So I'm going to say that I'm Coach H, and you don't have to type your real name, but something to indicate who you are. And go. So just to show you what it'll look like, you type in the sticky note, and then you can move it around to challenges or successes. And I wanted to tell you to type in your name because with students, you'll definitely need to know who has said what. Otherwise, it gets a little bit tricky. The other tool is images. So you could, one challenge we often face for English learners is speaking and how to just get them to speak if they're new. So you might choose an image that represents that, and you can move it around the Jamboard, make it smaller, larger. All right. So I'll let you guys go ahead and do that. One challenge, one success, and then before you get started, there's one more page. So the next question is on the second page, which you can manipulate right here on the top. If you feel like getting funky, you can change the color of your sticky note. Awesome.
Haley, how do you change the color?
So when you open it, you have the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
So we all just moved up one spot. No longer spectator.
Exactly.
And this is all through Google Drive, and you add Jamboard, correct? As an application.
Yep. And I'll show you guys just how to do that in just a second. It's so much easier than you would think. Tech tools always are once you give it a shot.
Well, I've decided like I want to learn, like I've done Pear Deck really well, Jamboard, like just I want some just really good tools that I constantly use and not make where I've learned 15, but I want to really be good at 2 or 3 and use consistently. So I've seen Jamboard and I like it because it's also integrated with Google.
Yeah, it's so easy to access. And sometimes they do the same thing, right? So Padlet kind of does this very same thing.
Yeah.
So it's nice to just have some go-tos. Awesome. And I'm gonna make some of these sticky notes a little bigger to make them easier to read.
I did mine for you.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. And let's check out page 2. And a couple people have responded on page 2, so I'll give you just a couple more minutes to play with that. Feel free to add a picture if you've already responded, just to play with that tool as well. There are shapes. That's a new feature. I'm not sure why you might need a circle, but you might need a circle. All right. So if you all don't mind, since we are a small group, I would love to have everybody just share one thing that they wrote to give us sort of some insight into your thoughts. So I'm going to start at the top. If Coach Brown, if you want to start. Anything you wrote or anything you're thinking?
I'm sorry, I'm actually on my phone, so I'm more or less just watching and observing.
No problem at all. Chime in if you have any questions. Coach Wilson?
Will do.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, basically just with directions in general, I put down for challenges, mostly because it's kind of what Andrew put with the language barrier and that. And then for successes, kind of any kind of visual examples. It seems like really when I have any kind of language barrier, they know it. And so when they see something, it's like they usually will do what everyone else is doing.
Right. That's a great point and absolutely right. And we hope we can show you some visuals today. Awesome. Mr. Coach McCrae.
Hi, I'm on my phone as well. I kind of joined after the meeting started.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No worries. I'll just get a couple more responses. Let's see, Coach Cogdell. I know cold calling is a no-no. Sorry, y'all.
All right. Sorry, it wouldn't unmute.
No, you're fine.
I mean, just first off, getting my middle schoolers to even log in. There's been a, slight disconnect. So, and just haven't been able to get in touch with our teacher for our building. I think she's been working remote a lot. So when I have been at school, just not really being able to figure out what they can and cannot do. So just right now, a huge disconnect for them. And the one time I had one come, they just looked totally lost, which I'm sure they were because they're quite a bit behind right now. So it was a lot for that child to take in.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's any help to know that that's teachers are experiencing that across the board, and some of the struggles that students are having with language are augmented, as you can imagine, by this remote environment. So that's a great point. One more person, and we'll take anybody. I won't cold call.
I'll go. What she said, and then also I feel like with the help that is in school, it's focused on their core classes. And it's kind of like, well, we got to get them to pass math and English. We're not really worried. And meanwhile, I've got kids with a 40 that are just looking at me and we can't communicate. And it's very frustrating.
Right. So often the focus is on those core content classes, and they need support everywhere. So yeah, that's a great point as well. Thanks you guys for sharing. I'm going to pop right back over here to the presentation. And before we jump into some of the other tools we wanted to share with you, just a couple stats related to Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools and then some pedagogy. So we have 18,604 English learners in CMS, which is about 13% of the overall population. Just a fun fact, 121 different languages. And then related to what you're saying, 100% of those 18,604 students are taking health and PE. And so we do want to make sure that they have support there because they're all your students and all our students. So just a quick reminder, if you want to know who your Ls are, you can find that in your NC Ed Cloud just by clicking Clever. And then once you go to Clever, you'll see a little icon that says Elevation. So that's where you can get a list of who your English learners are. If you have had any trouble, please let us know at the end and we can definitely troubleshoot with you so that you can see those students. I also just wanted to share with you just a little bit of basic information that you may already know, but a reminder. When you go into elevation, the students will have scores that range from 1 to 6. And that is from the access test that they take every February and March. And there are 4 parts to the test for each domain of language: listening, reading, writing, speaking. If they score 1, that means that they have a base level of English, may have just gotten here. And if they score 6, that means that they speak and write like you and I do. In order to not be considered an English learner, then they would have to have a 4.8 overall composite. So just a reminder, if you're looking at those scores and are curious about it.
Yeah, Haley, that's new to us. Like, we're not even exposed to, I'm willing to bet many of us are not even exposed to how they enter, how they exit, services that are provided. And like Sarah said, often they're just like, oh, well, health and PE, they just go, and we don't have anybody that comes into our classes and does any kind of inclusion type of services or even supports for us. So that's why having the 2 of you here, this is the first, I'm willing to bet. We're usually like, oh no, we don't go into your health and PE classes. I mean, when I taught health with English language learners, they gave me a dictionary to get this. I was like, that's not right. And this is CMS, but I was like, there's definitely a disconnect where it's just one of those where it's health and PE, but 100% of them need to get that health and PE graduate course. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that was stated in that slide.
Awesome. So yeah, like I said, if you guys have questions at the end or want to try logging into Elevation, we're glad to do that with you and just make sure you know what you're seeing and that everything's working. So there you're also going to see the students' home language, all of their scores, and then also how many years they've been in the United States. So we will have students who just came this year, and then we will have some students who are considered L and may have been born in the United States, and their needs will vary widely. So it's really a great tool to find out a little bit more. Yeah, and so Brett says I was given a Spanish-English dictionary. Yeah, and anymore, I would argue that dictionaries are getting out of date because we have our little phones right here and everything, right? So we'll explore some more tools. So here are our principles based on some current research. And we just want to take you through those very briefly. So our first principle is that we have meaningful engagement, which means that we want, we believe that the ones doing the talking are doing the learning. And so we want all students in every class to have the opportunity to speak and write every day. Christy?
Yeah, language and content integration. That is, again, for us as teachers to be able to foster the language development. Students that are English learners, they are acquiring the language. So there are barriers that are within the curriculum, and that's where the supports that we're going to show you today kind of come in, because it keeps the same grade level material, but it helps the students to have little supports to help them engage in it. And of course, knowing if they understand it is definitely by having them have conversations with other students, and they learn the language as they're talking with you, as they're talking with students. So we definitely want to make sure that we're fostering that language development that's within the content learning at the same time, that it's not by itself.
Awesome. And related to what Christy said, we want to have high challenge intentional support. So we want to be able to provide the right scaffolding, not over scaffolding so that it's too easy, or under scaffolding so they're frustrated. And I'll note Christy's point about the dictionary. It is on their L plans, and so yeah. We do want to include the dictionary if that's something that is a part of their L plan just because of testing. But yeah, they often do use the technology more than the paper dictionary.
Yeah, and really the dictionary is for testing purposes, just to let you guys know. It's what they can only use on a state test. So they have to know how to use a dictionary. So it is important still for them to be able to use a dictionary in class. You know, so when it comes to the state testing at the end of the year, when they do have it again, it's still there. They know how to use it. They can look up words. So it is that it's not to be dismissed. I mean, it's what they have available. for that.
Yeah, I think what we're referring to is,
Yeah.
here, that's the only thing you get.
Right.
Go. And then it's like, we don't see you at all.
Yeah.
Instructional
that's what we're
facilitator,
really,
or like, we're like,
of
okay.
course. Absolutely. And it's not the only thing. Absolutely. The next one is amplify, not simplify. Again, we don't want to take the grade level material away from the student. We want them to have exposure because, again, at the end of the year, they're tested on the grade level material. At the end of your, quarter exams or semester exams, they're tested on your grade level material. So they have to be able to amplify with those supports that we're going to show you today in order for them to engage in that content and keep it grade level.
Awesome. Our fifth principle is that all are assets, and so our students are joining us from so many different countries and cultures where they have these rich experiences to share with us, and we just want to remember to draw on that, and we want to remember that they're struggling to speak right now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're struggling to think, and especially in our upper grades. So we don't have to keep it super basic. Like, we don't have to start with ABCs because they don't know English, because they do have the capacity to think and bring those experiences. And the last one
is reach beyond the classroom. This is a way, again, to kind of incorporate the families involved. Communication, even with family, we're going to, again, share with you some tools that you can use to help communicate with parents. Should you need their support for their students. A lot of times parents do want to be involved. They do want their kids to be successful. They don't always know how either. So we're really trying to reach out to the community and getting the parents information and finding ways to communicate with them and making sure that they're engaged in their child's learning. Microsoft Translator, Google Voice, like there's different tools that can be used in order to help that communication piece too.
All right, so just a quick, while I have you here, I thought I'd go ahead and get some advice from you on how do I improve my 5K time. So if you could give me some tips in the chat box, that would be fantastic. I'm writing all of this down. It's also for the sake of an analogy, but it's good advice to have, so I appreciate it. Awesome. All right, so getting some, don't start with the 5K, so start small and build it up. Tempo runs, interval training, so this is all good advice. And I say this to, and it may be, oh, Sarah says music, that always helps. Hey, that can help with English too, right? Like listening to music can help learn the language. So I want to make that connection. I used to tell my students, like, they love to play soccer or baseball, and so I would ask them, like, how do good soccer players become better? Of course, they practice, and ask them how often they practice. They practice every day, and so I just wanted to use this analogy for improving anything that you do. To do the thing better, you have to just do the thing more. And so with English or with any language, it's the output, and the output is speaking and writing, really. And so we want to be able to see that our students are speaking and writing in every class every day, so that they have the opportunity to do the thing, which is practicing that language. So we're going to show some ways soon to help with that speaking and writing. All right, so here's what you'll need today. We're going to take you to our L Services support page, and Christy, if you could just type the bit.ly in the chat box. And then we're also going to take you to a page that's on the L Services support page that's just for health and PE. And if you have a Canvas course, so I know some of you are K-5, I don't know if you have a Canvas course, but if you do have that, go ahead and open that as well. So I'll give you a second to get those things up. Kim, do they have a Canvas course in K-5 or that's not the case?
Yeah, they do. They have a Canvas course. Yep.
Oh, great. So everybody has one. Awesome, awesome. So your Canvas course, and then that health and PE resources page. And I'll type in the bit.ly for health service. All right. So while you're doing that, I'll take you on a very brief tour of the L services page, because we did want to focus on the health and PE resources more.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
You want us to pull up the Canvas and go to the resource page? Oh, I can't.
Just pull up the camp. Yeah, so there's 2 pages. Yeah, so just your course, just have your course open, because I'll show you just some things in your course that we can support with translation and language tools.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So this is what the L services page looks like. For if you're having any kind of issues with connecting with students, we do have this language assistance team. And here you're going to find an interpreter request form. So if you needed to communicate with a family and wanted to schedule a meeting, you could use this form. Or if you had a student who just couldn't connect and you wanted to give their family a resource, you could give them this phone number and they could call and speak to someone in their language to help them connect. So that's something that's could be really helpful for remote learning.
And Haley, where'd you access, I know this is your Canvas page, but where did you access this learning and language acquisition Canvas page?
Yeah, Christy, can you tell us, is this linked to the CMS site?
Sorry, say it again.
Is this linked? So I can put the bit.ly for it, and it's a Canvas course that they joined, but is this linked to like the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools website?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know if they've added that. I haven't seen that site recently. It should be, I would think that should be linked in there.
Is it open for
I'm not
enrollment?
100%.
Like anybody can join?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
So,
I found it. It's connected to your Canvas. You go down to resources. It says CMS resources on your Canvas page,
There it is.
and you'll see EL service support.
gotcha.
Right
So it's within those resources. Thank
Yeah.
you,
Right there.
Gary.
No problem.
Because I didn't even know that that even existed for the interpretation and to put that in there. So that would be something, you guys, where you're just documenting too on your end that you are asking for these services, that you're reaching out to be able to serve your students, just to document, like I put this in there on certain dates, just so it shows that you're being proactive. That's what I would do.
Awesome. Thanks,
Okay.
Gary. Yeah, that's so right here, that little envelope in the bottom, and
No
then
envelope. Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Folder, envelope. Yep.
Yeah.
And you can click here. So we do have other things that you might come back to. We have professional learning opportunities. And then we have the PACE toolkit is the other thing that we'd like to share with you, because this is where we've housed the resources for health and PE in middle and high. So when you click that PACE toolkit, you'll just go to curriculum resources. Like you guys said, the math and English always comes first. So there it is. But if you keep scrolling, we've got you. You'll click high school or middle, whichever applies to you, or elementary. It's not there yet, but we're moving in the right direction. And for the sake of today, you could click on high or middle. And
But that will go to that bit.ly that you shared with us.
Yeah, exactly. So you could go straight from the bit.ly, and that works too.
And I'm going to post that, you guys, just simply the bit.ly. So it eliminates a lot of clicks, and I'll put that into our Canvas course as well. And then I'll message that out to everybody that this exists for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. So that's just the pathway if you ever wanted to find through all of the clicks. That's how you would find it, and you're welcome to explore more. All right. So today, what's on the menu is we're just going to take you through some tools we've created that align with your menus for your health courses. And then we'll give you some time to play with those tools as we go. So the first thing I want to share with you is a couple of useful tools. And these aren't so much for teachers, but these are to empower students if they need translation. So it's something you could show them really quickly, and they could go back and access it in their language. So the first one I want to show you, I'm going to show you two, and then I'm going to let you go try it out. So if you have any issues or questions, you can ask them. So the first thing you may already know, you have these table talks and the videos that you show. So I might not understand this. And if I want, I could put the subtitles in English, which is super helpful. So that's one thing I want you to try. You just click CC for closed caption. The other thing, if I'm not understanding, I might have students change, is the playback speed. So I'll slow it down just a little bit. It doesn't translate directly. Let me go ahead and point that out. It's close and can be a useful tool. And the third thing I want to show you is if you click there on subtitles, you can click on English, and oftentimes on YouTube, you can make the subtitles play in a different language.
For these 3 days, okay? What I got to say, you really don't want to hear, because understand to have for your people priorities, right?
All right. So again, that's not going to translate it directly, but it is going to give students perhaps the gist of what the video is about, so that they're not completely lost there. So that's one. Keep that in your memory before I give you time to play. The second, I think this is most useful with the ICR quizzes, but you could use it on any page. So I'm going to preview this quiz. I'm an English learner, and this is a lot of words, and I just want to make sure I understand the content. So this is magical and quite simple. Pay close attention. I'm going to right click, and this screen pops up. All I have to do is go down to translate to English. I can click here, choose another language, and then I can choose whatever language I want to see this page in. Again, it may not be 100% accurate, but for the sake of the quiz, as a student, I'm going to get the idea of what you're asking, perhaps even if I don't understand all of what it says in English.
You guys, that right there in itself is worth coming to this meeting. It's literally right click and change the language, but you're not going to change it for them.
Right.
The student has to change it for themselves, because if you change it, then does that change on their Canvas course, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so we keep it, but we have to lift up our L students to use the tools themselves, correct?
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's just going to change it on whatever screen you're on. So I don't think it would change it on the actual Canvas course, but to your point, absolutely, like we don't want to do the work for them, but we do want to empower them to use those tools if they need them. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a chance to try that out. And Sarah asks, does this work on other sites? It does. It does work on other sites. So like here, I'm on a Google page. I'm going to right click, translate, and it's all going to be in that language. I will say, like, sometimes in Canvas, there's going to be an image that has words on it, and it's not going to read that as words. So it won't do everything, but it will do quite a lot. All right. Keep the questions coming. I'm going to just put 2 minutes on the clock and let you guys try out those two things. Once you've tried it, you can type in the chat box your response. You can say, cool, got it, anything you want. Awesome. I'll say for the, obviously, I'll just state the obvious. For those of you who are K-5, this is obviously not going to be useful for kindergartners and first graders if they can't read yet. But this might be useful for your upper grade students, or even communicating with parents. Yeah, Mr. Wilson, sometimes whoops, there we go, time's up. Classroom teachers, yes, it's such an easy trick, but not everybody knows, so yeah. And Miss Coach Cogdell, can we use this when sending Canvas emails? You can. I would just note that it's not always an accurate translation, but it can be useful. And one other tool that I'll share with you, Christy, what's it called? Where it sends the message in the home language.
So Google Voice can do that.
Talking Points or Google Voice.
Yeah.
Are also useful tools to send messages to families. Talking Points, you just set it up where you type it in English and you've selected the language, and so they're going to receive it in the other language. They're going to type it back to you in their language, and you're going to receive it in English. So Talking Points is specifically for languages, and I would recommend checking that out for family communication as well.
But you could use this as a resort, even though it's not 100%. Like if that's what you have, they'll get the gist of, I mean, at least it's something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, any questions about that before we go on to the next tool? Awesome. So the next tool is Google Read and Write, and I'm just gonna ask you to rate your familiarity again using those same, that same key. I'm a pro, I use it all the time. Rookie, tried it but need more practice. A spectator, seen it or heard of it. And obviously I copied that slide, so what's Google Read Write, not what's Jamboard. Or just what, Coach K? Yeah, exactly. Oops. Great. All right, so we've got some spectators and a what? And I'm going to show you, using this is a menu that we've created for one of the units in the high school curriculum. But we also have these for each of the middle school courses, and it'll look very similar. So I'm going to show you a starter and an appetizer and how we've used Google Read Write. And then I'm going to give you, just like before, a few minutes to play with it and do it yourself. So this is a flashcard template. So as you all know, they are first doing vocabulary for their starter.
And remember, elementary folks, you might be at middle school or high school someday. So you're getting a glimpse of what they do for health education, you guys.
And you could still use these in your tools for whatever you're teaching. So Google Read Write is an extension, and you and your students have this on your computer. Right here, there's a little puzzle piece that says RW, and it's purple. So you simply click on RW, and you get this bar that pops down here. So once it's there, you don't have to do anything. You should automatically have it. If you don't, we can you can let us know. We can try to figure that out. So a few great things that this does. One is I just push play. Is it going to work? No, it's not going to work. Theoretically, if I just push play, it's going to read it aloud to the student, and they should have the ability to do that too. I'll try that again in a minute and see if it's just my computer being glitchy. Another tool is a translation right here in Google Read and Write. So they highlight the word. And it's not going to work for me today, y'all. This is not cool.
Well, on Friday, Google Read and Write completely like vanished as a resource. So it may be the tool itself having an issue today, because it did pop back up. Because Friday, like there was maybe 3 tools I could use. That was it.
I tried this morning and it worked. And so yeah, let's see. Let me try just a couple more things. So we might skip this one, y'all, but I would encourage you to go back to it if.
But you literally just put in the word, you guys, and a picture comes up that you can insert in that table. That's correct, right, Haley and Christy? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I got this little picture right here on the right. And so this is a great way for students to make those flashcards. Christy, is it working for you?
Sorry, yeah, I was sorry, it's like take it off right now. Yes. So do you want me to share mine real quick?
Yeah, if you could share yours.
Because that's why I wanted to test and see if it was working on mine, because I know we had an issue too. Let me.
Yeah.
And don't judge me on all my tabs. I'm working on a lot of different things right now. Make sure I can share my. So when you just, again, you kind of highlight the word and you basically turn it on and it goes.
5. Assault. 6. Conflict. 7. Misconception. 8. Aggression. 9. 10. 7.
But Christy, oh yeah, there you go. Okay, great. So that's.
And then when I click on the word too, you could get a picture. And let me see if I can find some words don't have it in here. Okay, yeah, it's not liking us today on this. Okay, and then translate.
Try highlighting. There we go. Try highlighting the word.
Usually doesn't need that for the picture. Oh, there it goes. Assault, and it shows just, that's not really a good one for assault there.
Discuss.
And it will, again, if a student needed to hear it,
Discuss.
the words there. I think it's having a problem, you know what, Haley, because you are highlighted on discuss.
Okay.
And so I think it's reading, because there's 2 of us on the same document, because we don't have the forced copy. So I think that's part of it.
Awesome. So weirdly, y'all, this has been really glitchy, but I'm gonna let you guys try it out. It does work on all of the Google apps. So it works on Google Documents, Google Slides. And then, Christy, do you want to try opening just a regular website? Typically, it should work on a regular website, but like I said, Google Read Write's been a little bit glitchy this last week or two. So let's just check it out and see if it does.
But if you guys don't have Google Read and Write, you can put that and add that as your extension right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't think it's gonna, there it goes. Oop. See if it works now.
Teacher Workday, SEP 30. Zillions and Operations Electronic Meeting canceled. October 07. Early Release Day, October 0.
So you get the idea that it's definitely used. And then let's see, can we do stop for that? And then picture, let's see. That's what a workday looks like, guys. Not again, not the best picture, but common words it'll have for it. And it's going, like you can see my computer right now is going crazy in general.
CMS,
not, yes,
so
the operations.
I'll give you a few minutes to check that out and play with it yourselves in a document or on a website. But a few things that I would say, try out the image, try out the dictionary and the translation tool.
If you Google, if you search for the Read and Write extension, it'll come up. Mine's purple. There's a different way to get it too, I think.
Yeah, you can just Google it and click on the first one, and you can add it as an extension. But my understanding is that all CMS computers are preloaded with it on the top.
Yeah, we should have it under, should be in here.
It's an extension that is part of CMS, Google Drive Suite.
Yeah.
So if you're using a personal computer like I'm using right now, I would have to add it. But is it free for CMS and it's not free for non-CMS, or is it just free extension?
I think it's free.
It's paid for. It's actually paid for by the EC department.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah, for all of the different tools, you may have some of the features available without being associated with CMS. Coach K, I think you have, it's a purple puzzle piece, and I think we have a black puzzle piece too. But I think that the other puzzle piece serves a different function.
Yeah, I
Is
had
extensions that you've added.
Yeah, I clicked on it, and then it was the black one, then it was the purple ones there. I just had to pin it up there.
Perfect. Awesome.
And the black puzzle piece might be my Adobe that you're looking at. And that's something our department has purchased for us that we can edit all PDFs and stuff. So that might be that one that you're looking at. I know we have a few different ones.
I'm going to put just one more minute for you to explore. And if you have any questions, type them in the chat as you do that. Awesome. All right, give me a quick feedback in the chat. It worked, it didn't work, got it, love it, useful. not useful, whatever. Quick response in the chat. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Is it just me?
They were all saying it's very useful.
Oh, my chat.
So it's all good. Like, cool, I like it. Nice, worked for me. So yeah, all positive.
I was like, wait time. Okay, great.
No, the other, it's in there.
Okay, perfect. So we're not actually going to have a chance to go through all of the resources that we had initially planned on, and that's okay. Oh, now I'm seeing the chat. What I am going to do is just very quickly walk you through this resource document, and it has a few ideas of supports before we wrap up. We'll take questions, and then we'll say goodbye.
Well, I'm going to show something really cool though before you guys leave. That's going to be the 10:30 to 11:30 time slot that I think will be very useful, and especially for elementary.
And you get DLC credit on that one.
Yes.
Whoop, whoop. So I typed the URL in the chat for this particular document. So that is one support. One other that we created to go along with appetizers. And I'm gonna very quickly walk you through some of these.
And that's in that bit.ly link, that website.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm gonna make sure that everybody knows about too, that you created these. Okay.
So right here is one of the articles they read for the appetizer. And so what this is just a place for them to answer, since it might be a bit overwhelming to know exactly what to do. So this just guides them through the questions of the appetizer. It gives them a place to answer. It gives them some images, and it tells them exactly where in the article they would go to find that answer. All right. The next thing I want to show you is a Google Drive template that goes along with the main entree. And this is super simple, but it includes all of the criteria in the rubric that they would need to include to get the highest score, to get all of the points. And so one of the criteria is that they list the source. Another is that it's visual, that they're advocating for some change. And so the students have this template where they can type their responses and make sure they've included all of this. This one.
And remember, you guys, this is high school that I believe, Christy, you created, correct? And Haley?
Yeah.
You put on that bit.ly. And then are we working towards doing all the modules in 6 all the way up to high school?
6 through 8 are done. So yeah, I've worked 6 through 8 are done as well. And then Haley's working on the high school right now for unit 2.
Yeah.
So we have not finished it. It is a lot of work, and there is a couple questions at the end I want to ask too.
Okay, so they're almost done. That's awesome. Okay, so these resources are ready to go for some of our teachers that want to provide these lifts for their L students or even struggling reader students.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is, and actually I'll have to stop because it looks like we have just 3 minutes. So I'm just going to show you this one. I'll let you browse the rest on your own. But this is from one of the mind maps at the very beginning. So that's where this information came from. But they're asked to know the positive and negative effects of social media. And so students have pictures. This is just using Google Draw right in your Google Suite, and they can sort the images based on whether they think that it's positive or negative. And you can check their understanding just by having them match. So this is a digital way for you to be able to gauge what they know without them having to produce as much if they're at a lower level. We don't have time for much more, so I would invite you just to check through those. And the things that you'll notice in all of those are going to be sentence starters, so that they are able to participate and produce language. I'll show you just this last one that was made with Google Read Write. It's an exit ticket. So we want them to be able to answer. So there's visuals to support the question. They could answer using this sentence starter and choose from this list what sparked their interest. So really, the big point is that there's no opt-out for our English learners. It gives them the language that they need to use to complete the task. And by doing that, they're practicing the language as well. So man, that was a really fast hour, and I appreciate you guys a lot for coming today on your work day. And Christy has just one little advertisement before we close out.
Yeah, and do you mind if I can share my screen then, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I wanted to show you guys, first of all, we are looking for curriculum writers to help Haley and I. Haley's about to leave on maternity leave, so we need someone for high school for sure to help write those overviews that she just showed. And then I would love somebody to help me with 6th through 8th. Writing those overview documents. Curriculum is there. The templates are really created now at this point. And so it is about $100 every 6 hours, $500 a month. So if you're interested, email me and let me know, because those resources, it's going to go a lot faster if we have help. And just as a teaser, I just want to show you for a 6th grade unit. This is the tool called Book Creator, and this is a really amazing thing for kids to be able to use. And all teachers do have at least 40 books for free. And you can see in here that we're able to link the Jamboard, so students can easily click on the link. They could open their Jamboard. You have to have it in play option for the links to work. I'm going to teach you how to do all of that in the next hour, that 10:30 to 11:30 PD. And like Kim said, you also get digital the DLC credits for it. I couldn't speak there, but we have the table talk, so the entire unit is really amplified for the students. And so if you have the Google Docs, the other document works perfectly. But if you are very interactive and you want your students to interact, they can record their voices, they can record themselves talking. So again, for an EL student that is acquiring the language, the more they practice, speaking and writing are two of the big things that they score the lowest on. So this tool will allow them to have opportunities for them to record their speech. So it not replaces Flipgrid, but it's another kind of like another way to use something similar to what a Flipgrid does. And again, all the tools are in here, and the students have places where they are interacting. So I did change these directions just a little bit, where they actually have to record themselves pretending that they're talking to somebody at the dinner table, which is kind of the application skill of the same activity, and you're getting the same output, but in a different way. And kids love these, and they also can create and decorate their own pages with it. So if you're interested, like I said, I have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I do have the templates I'm going to show you, and you're going to be able to copy them and put them into your own library, but you got to come to my PD. So it's 10:30 to 11:30. And at the end, if you are someone that loves Book Creator as much as I do, I'm also looking for curriculum writers just to do the Book Creators for Health and PE. So that's another opportunity. So again, it's up to 30 hours a month, basically for the year, or for as long as it takes to finish the project. And if you're interested in doing that, we would love to have some help in helping us create it.
And
so
you could be elementary PE too.
Yes, yes, you can. And honestly, if you're elementary and you're interested in doing this for middle school and high school, it's only going to give you the skills. So when we put this out for the summer and kind of looking at the elementary and doing this for elementary, you could possibly already be our writer. So it's definitely something that you can use. And again, these are templates. You can use them and adapt them to for elementary.
Thank you so much, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to upload this into YouTube, put it onto our Canvas CMS HPE 2020-2021 course. I'll be sure that everybody has that bit.ly with the L, health and health PE. That's what people were putting in the chat box. Like, okay, where do we find that? It's in that Google site where I think Dee, you posed that question, where do I find that? So it's within that Google site. So I'll kind of sum this all up, wrap it up, put it into our CMS HPE PD course. I already gave everyone credit who was here today because I could easily see who was here, and I added you as a learner in My Talent. Already gave you credit, so don't worry about doing any My Talent registration. I was easily able to do that for you with that small group that we have today. So really, really appreciate Haley and Christy, you guys, all my health and PE folks out there. They're really good go-to people. Like when they share this with me, I was like, okay, I have two people that I can go to and are accountable and reliable that I can, collaborate with. So as you can see, those resources that they created, that literally we had like an hour meeting, and then like 3 weeks later you had all this stuff done. I was like, this is exactly what we need. We've been needing this for like 3 years. So this is amazing. So really, really appreciate it. So if you guys, anybody can, be part of that curriculum writing team, if your time permits, I would ask you to reach out to Haley and Christy.
We put our emails in the chat box, and we also put an evaluation in there, the bit.ly /health eval. It just helps us to know if this was helpful, anything else you would want to see in the future if we ever do PDs again. I am looking, Kim, to possibly do another health PD through our department too, offer, because we have stipends available too later on. So Perfect. We're going to possibly offer that down. So if you see other teachers, PE teachers and health and PE, share the information. If you like this, you felt like you got something out of it, let them know that there are resources out there, and we are truly trying to help the curriculum and trying to help our students gain access to it, and that these supports will really help them do that. So please feel free to give us feedback, let us know, and I would love to see all of you again at 10:30 to 11:30 with me for the book creator. So, but otherwise you guys can take a break, and we'll see you again at 10:30.